Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My classes have been going on for around a month now when this would be uploaded, and I'm guessing that we'll all have to take notes one way or the other. So I decided to do the ever-present StudyTube staple, how I take my notes video. This is gonna be just my third study video, so I'm pretty sure no one asked, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So let's get into it. Just a quick disclaimer before we start this, I'm a super small channel, so none of these are sponsored. These are honestly what I use. For most of my notes, I prefer using an erasable pen. I usually use a Pilot friction pen with the same brand of pen eraser because the rubber silicone end part becomes flat after a lot of use. Just a word of warning, if your table has access to direct sunlight, don't put your notes in there, it'll disappear. I have some zebra mild liners for that StudyTube aesthetic. They're on the high end of Philippine prices at around 80 each, and they have 25 colors at the time of recording, so the cost really stacks up if you want to get them all. And if you are planning on getting them all, you have to do a little bit of hunting if you're gonna do it in person, because certain colors like gray and purple are a bit hard to find. For certain subjects, I'll use these Muji gel pens to help out with color coding and alternate colors for my notes. I know not everyone can afford to spend this much money on expensive pens and highlighters, so here are some cheaper alternatives that I can recommend. My favorite black gel pen is the Dong-A gel sign that I get for about 15 pesos each. It has really dark ink that flows smoothly, and it's a pretty good price for the quality. Being a cheaper pen, it does have some drawbacks. It doesn't dry as quickly as other pens, so you have to wait a while before highlighting over it. There's no rubber grips, and it's also pretty rare to find this in the wild or even online, so I stock up on this whenever I happen to find them. For a cheaper erasable pen, there's the M&G Erase. It's about 50 for the pen and 30 for the refills if you want to try it out. The ink is not as dark as the friction, but it still erases cleanly. It has a bit of issue with railroading though. When it comes to highlighters, I have two recommendations. I know that most people would be looking for pastel highlighters. Stabilo makes highlighters with the most ink capacity or longevity with their pastel boss line, but they only have 6 colors. I usually use these for annotating physical readings because of how much ink they hold, but they're pretty bulky to store and carry around. They do have the Swing Cool set that has a narrower barrel, but I don't think it has the same ink capacity. The next one is another Dong-A product. I have no idea how to say it, so I'll say it both ways. It's their twin liners. They're the closest you can get to local mild liners with half the price. They can work as dupes with some colors a little bit more neon and some a little lighter. And they have 15 colors as far as I know. The nibs on the twin liners are a bit firmer compared to the mild liners, and the bullet nib is also smaller. But if you have a tendency to push down on pens a lot, then maybe this is a better choice for you. Okay, enough about pens, let's get to the notes. If you've seen my How I Prep for the SEM video, you would know that I use color codes for my subjects and put them on my class info sheet that you could also see in that video. I set aside about 3 full pages before I start taking notes. This is where I'll put my table of contents for easier searching later on. Can't really do calligraphy, nor do I have the time with college schedule and stuff. So I go with a pretty simple header, which is writing a title with a line of highlighter on either side. The color depends on the subject and the types of notes I'm taking. So for some subjects, I have 2 different colors, so I know which are lecture notes and which are notes from readings or textbooks. I chose the easy highlighter line style because it's fast and it doesn't matter what my handwriting looks like. because it tends to look closer to chicken scratch when I'm trying to keep up with the professor. For subsections that I'll include in the table of contents, I make a flag-ish shape, then I make a drop shadow with a highlighter. I don't really put too much effort into this. This is just honestly so I know which notebook I'm looking at in case I space out. Sometimes I don't even add the colors until after the class, so I'm sure that's what I want for the header style. My note-taking style is the basic outline style, but I've made my own bullet point and symbol system so that it flows smoother. My basic bullets consist of a dash, a circle, and a square. The circle can sometimes be shaded, sometimes not. I don't really mind anything, but the square is always not shaded. Just a weirdness of mine. Then if you need more space under or you need more bullets under, then you just repeat the system. Along with my normal bullet system, I have some special bullets that I use. I do an angled arrow for definitions, a plus sign for examples, and numbers for lists. I'd rather draw diagrams during my free time or when I don't have to give my full attention to the class. I also don't put too much effort into this because graphs don't really work well for me, and I don't really mind if they're not centered. By now, I think most of us have had those teachers that go back to a topic in the middle of another topic. To prevent trying to slot in who knows how much extra info, I just put them on a sticky note so I could put them where the topic was, but it won't disturb anything. Like I keep saying, I don't have math or science subjects, so I don't have a system for those yet. But the subjects where my system kinda changes is for language classes. Last semester, I took French, and this sem, I'm taking Japanese, so my approach to both is similar but with a few key differences. I stick with the same title and header style, but it's rare that I use bullets unless it's a list of classifications or words. I find that trying to add bullets might actually add more confusion to what you're writing because you're never sure if the dash is a hyphen or the circle is some part of a character. For French, I wrote the English translation with a black pen, the French words with my friction pen, which when you write with looks gray, and then use my red pen, which is the color code for French, to write down how I'm supposed to say it. I did a few experiments of highlighting the English words, but then it just made my notes look more messy, so I stopped doing it. For Japanese, which has characters I have to write down, I defaulted to a 3-pen system. For lectures with no characters, I used the friction pen to write the English words, then a light purple pen to write Japanese in English letters. But when I'm studying by myself trying to memorize characters, I use my friction pen to write the character so I can do some practice, revise it, erase it. My light purple pen to write how it's supposed to be pronounced, then a dark purple uniball signo to write down a weird way I can remember it. So that's really all there is to it with my notes. I don't have pretty handwriting, but that didn't stop me from making a system. It just makes it easier to find the information you're looking for. All effective notes don't have to look studygram ready. And I don't really put too much emphasis on learning calligraphy to have good notes either. I really hope this inspired you to make a system for yourself. How do you take notes? Leave them in the comments below. If you like this video and want to see more content from me, then hit the subscribe button and the bell to know when a new video is out. I try to upload every week, Monday nights at 8. I guess that's all for this video. Bye guys!